And we're back. I had to change a camera angle. Just because when you record on a cell phone, you can't switch in between one or the other when you're recording. So here we are on Timid Rat, Part 2. Now, a rat can be timid for a lot of different reasons. Either rat could be a rescue, the rat could have a previous experience with a different owner that you were not aware of, or the rat could just be timid. I've bred many rats, and I've had several that were just timid. They didn't want much to do with people. They were very nice rats, but they just didn't really want to come. They didn't really want to do much of anything. And if you come into these kind of rats, either you can slowly work with them, and you might see improvement, or you can just get them out of the cage, pet them every once in a while, and they really do enjoy it. So my timid rat is Cow. As you can see, tolerates petting, doesn't enjoy it, but tolerates it, and does not show aggressive tendencies, meaning not turning toward my hand to biting it, and more or less showing standoffish. Now, if you have this kind of rat, training is going to be a little bit difficult. You can't really train come with these rats. They're more focused on treat-based things, and depending on the previous owner or the rat in general, treats might be different for each one. So here we're going to teach Cow how to sit up. So we're going to get a treat. We got a peanut butter treat. First we need to see if the rat will actually eat it. Most timid rats will not eat outside their cage. And it looks like he doesn't like peanut butter. Do you like a sweet potato? Nope. Now it's hard to tell, but the rat's shaking right now. So this means that the rat is terrified. So we're just going to slowly pet him. Now we're doing it with our fist, not our hand, just because our hands can be a little bit sticky from sweat. So we're just going to gently pet him. Now he's itching. Now, unless he has fleas or anything, this just means that he's starting to be calm. Rats will often groom themselves if they feel calm, or they will just sit there and lay and enjoy it, or they'll curl up in a little ball, which is very cute. Now I'm going to put him back so I don't stress him out too much. Now if the camera angle's a little bit weird, sorry about that. Now with timid rats, you can teach them to do one thing, jump back in their cage. It won't jump to you, they'll jump back in their cage. So we're just going to get the rat on our hand. As you can see, he just wants to cuddle, which is fine. That's why I call him Cow, because he has a white belly. Alright, there's the cage. Open up the cage. There's Stripe. And there you go. As you can see, he's fine. Goes back to the back of the cage. And that. Then that brings up another question that I get asked quite a bit as a rat trainer and breeder. Can rats be housed alone? Yes and no. What it really comes off to is a matter of preference. Now, as you've seen in previous videos, Cuddles, my big old fat rat, right there, is fine alone. I tried housing him with other males, even properly socialized, over the course of 2 months, and he just attacks them. And he draws blood, which is not good. So that is the main reason why he is alone. He also really doesn't mind it. His energetic has not diminished over time, and he gets a lot of handling, so he feels happy. Now, as you can see, all my other rats have 2, which is a pair. The reason behind that is rats, yes, are very social. So this comes the dilemma of new rat owners or people getting into owning rats. Do I need more than one? It really comes down to the personality of the rat, which we have discussed in previous videos and this video. It also comes to how much time you're going to spend with the rat. So you need to understand that rats love to play. They constantly love to play. So having another rat in the cage lets them play. Now, not all rats love to play, but most commonly than not, rats love to play. Cuddles, on the other hand, he really doesn't care. He's not depressed, he's not anything, he just likes to sleep. He's right there. Now, he is in an oversized cage just because I really don't have I don't have another cat carrier, which is what I keep my rats in. We already discussed proper sizing, so I won't get into that. Now, the reason why people often buy oversized cages is either one of a few reasons. One, they have more than one rat, and more than two rats, so they get an oversized cage. Now, when I say oversized, I mean a cage that is not sized for that many rats. It is overly sized, meaning that it could house up to like 15 or 20 rats, and you're putting like 2 or 3 in there. Now, rats are very special animals in the fact that anything you give them, they usually will use. Except Cuddles. He really doesn't like a bigger cage because he's used to a smaller cage. So he'll just spend his days near the end, right there. Like all the time, he won't go to the back, he won't go to the bottom, he'll just stay right there and likes to be petted and cuddled. Except when I give him food, he'll drag it back there. Now, the benefits of having an oversized cage versus the flaws, and the benefits of having a smaller cage and the flaws. First, we'll go into oversized cage and we'll move down. The benefits of having a larger cage is you can add toys. Toys. Rats love toys. I don't care if it's as simple as a paper towel tube, toilet paper tube, piece of wood that they like to chew on and run around, anything. They need toys. Toys. I don't care if the rat's as timid as hell and bites the hell out of your fingers. I don't care if it's the most energetic, happy rat in the world. They all need toys. Toys. They also need chewing toys, but that's a different discussion. And they also love beds. Now, in Cuddles' cage, he is just old towels. And that's what I always recommend for bedding. Is just old clothes, old towels, anything. As long as it's 100% cotton, it's fine. And now, the flaws of having an oversized cage is, for some rats, it makes them timid. Even the happiest rat in the world can grow timid in a larger cage. Now, this isn't always the case, but they can grow timid over time, meaning that they're not close to their owner as before. Now, I have experienced this several times with my smaller rats. If you've seen in previous videos that I've trained to hop in my hand. I tried putting them in the oversized cage when Cuddles wasn't in there so he doesn't attack them. And they didn't come. They sat in the corner and they panicked. You will also come to this with snake owners versus snake breeders. That's why a breeding cage is smaller than a normal cage for a snake. And now we're going to go to the benefits and flaws of an undersized cage, or a cage is perfectly fitted for the size of rat. The benefit is it's small, which kind of sounds weird as a benefit, but it is, meaning that the rat really doesn't need to do too much to get to you. And this really helps with the bonding experience, especially when you get a newer rat. It's recommended not to put them in a larger cage to begin with. It's recommended smaller cage for bonding than bigger cage and work on bonding in the bigger cage, which can happen. I've had several rats in oversized cages that have bonded with me that have not grown timid over time. And this comes to the personality thing. Is not all rats are the same. Different rats will have different personalities and blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. And what it really boils down to is preference. Like, you can have an oversized cage and have rats in there and they'd be perfectly fine. You can have a cage that's perfectly sized and an undersized cage and be perfectly fine. What you need to understand fully is it's a rat. Okay, it is a pest animal. It is a animal that's very good at adapting, and most often than not, they will tolerate quite a bit. So it really comes down to your preference as a rat owner, breeder, or trainer, and it comes down to the rat itself. As you can see, Stripe, he's fine. He's laying down right now, and he's just energetic because he sees my finger and he wants to bite it. See? And he just likes to bite. That also comes down to escape attempts. Now, oh boy. I've caught more rats in my room that have escaped than I have caught wild rats out just running around in my garage. This really boils down to 1, me not being ready for the personalities, and 2, me just trusting rats a little bit too much. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can enforce a cage that you either build yourself or you buy a previous cage and do it. A lot of people recommend chicken wire, like really fine mesh chicken wire, and this does work. I like using duct tape, and it works. And if they chew on it, they're fine. It really won't hurt them any more than chewing metal or plastic. Which is something that's kind of weird, that I always found kind of weird. Like, they can chew duct tape, they can chew plastic, but it really doesn't affect them too much, which is nice. Now, when it comes down to chewing plastic, this is personalities. Some rats will chew and some rats won't. Now, I have a perfect example right here. As you can see, no chew marks, no chew marks. As you can see, chew marks on the tape. This is because they're small enough and they can get through here. Now, how you size this is if the rat can fit its head through it, they can squeeze the entire body through it. That's how you size these bars. Now, they haven't tried squeezing through this, but as you can see, they have chewed this. And if I open this up, all the way up here, you can see chew marks. This is before I put the tape there. You can see chew marks on the back and chew marks on the back. Now, I just used cellophane tape, which is this clear tape, and I just put it over. And that works fine. They don't like the smell, so they tend not to chew on it. And even if they do chew, it really won't hurt them too much. I also use duct tape, as you can see on the door here, because they can slip through these bars if they really want to. See? Hi. Hi, baby. Hi. As long as they can fit their head through it, they can get through it, most often than not. So this is not isolating the rat or anything else. Now, rat cages I do not recommend are any cage that does not allow any sunlight to go through. As you can see, all my cages have bars, and all my cages have little windows. This is very important. No rat should be in a cage that does not have at least 2 or more open sides. If you do just go with an all-match cage that is perfectly viewable from all ends and angles, that's fine. I will tell you that rats love to throw their food out, which is why my floor looks like a mess. Because every time I clean it and do a very good job and I feed the rats, they like to throw all what they don't want to eat on the floor. So if you have an entirely mesh cage or entire wire cage, get ready to do some cleanup. Because anything you feed them, either it's pellets or whole foods or anything else, they'll throw it out. As you can see, even in an undersized cage, he's perfectly happy. And he's just laying in the bars. Hi, honey, hi. And now he goes back to trying to bite me. And that's really all you're going for. As long as the rat looks like it's happy and healthy, then it's fine. Other cages I do not accept of are buckets, which I have seen way too many of. Now, for temporary, yes, like for a couple hours, if you need to clean out the cage or sterilize it, yeah, they can stay in a bucket. Don't leave in a bucket. Remember, light, and at least 2 or more viewable angles. Now, in Cuddles' cage, he has bars at the side and a big old nice front. Now, that cage is meant for a very big dog, and the reason why I bought that was before Cuddles got really super aggressive, there used to be 4 rats in there running around, hopping around, and they were all nice and happy. Then Cuddles decided he wants to try to eat everyone, so that's why he's sitting low. And I said earlier, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, well, if you have any other questions or comments, please put them down in the thing below. If you want a detailed list of safe foods that I have fed that are proven not to harm the rat, it's also just say that you want them down below, and I'll post them in the comments or description. Sorry, I got a burp. And like I say in all my videos, actually no, I want to carry one last thing. These cages. Little handle cages. Now these are great for babies. Babies. These are 3-week-old babies. They are nice and weaned from their mother. And they're all doing wonderful. Now, for baby care, you can use condensed milk. You like that, and as long as they're eating solid food, that's okay to do. And as you can see, little nibble bites on the apple. There we go. Little nibble bites on the apple, which is very important. They need their moisture. They also love condensed milk. I'm not going to make a video on that unless it's really wanted to by the community. So if you'd like to see that, just post video ideas down below. Well, I think this video is running off. It's 16 minutes, so that's more than enough. But I just like talking every once in a while. It really does help. So, like I say in all my videos, shoot 'em high and watch 'em fly.